Good afternoon, everyone who is watching in this channel. Ten Hag, Bayern contact. Bayern Munich is going to have to contact the intermediaries or the management team of Erik Ten Hag on whether they can sign him as their next manager or not. With loads of uncertainties happening at Man United coming through the media, obviously Bayern Munich is moved to obviously think about Erik Ten Hag. Erik Ten Hag was at Bayern Munich when Pep Guardiola was there and was really in their reserve team, and he saw the likes of Joshua Kimmich being promoted to the team of Bayern Munich, and he was one of those that was being looked at as one of those managers that are really elite. And for teams like Bayern Munich, they always have that in them, and they consider those managers very special, especially those that are going to come in through from their reserve and gonna have to be very successful. And he went to Utrecht, FC20, he went to Ajax, now at Man United. And guess what? When you look at his stats, any team in the world would obviously want to hire him as their next manager, because he has gone ahead to really fight the right battle. And I tell you what, even Ineos, when you look at those stats, they are not really willing to obviously let this manager go, according to me. And that doesn't sound like music to ears to those people that really want Erik Ten Hag out, but that's the fact that you'll always not want to hear and really get in. But I tell you, it's all about you consuming exactly what is really happening right now. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Erik Ten Hag is gonna be, I think, is already gonna hate to make a year at Man United, because he came in through, I think they're now 2 years, came in through he was announced as the next manager of Man United, I think around the 21st of March 2022. And now, since his announcement, it's 2 years since he started working at Man United. It's just 2 months away. I think it's a month away from obviously seeing him making 2 years. You can reminisce about his first press conference that went ahead to hold as a Man United manager, and that's when you obviously coming through and understand that things have gone ahead to obviously go on well for him. And I think if you read his stats and compare them to other managers in their first seasons, it will show you that there is a special talent in this man known as Erik Ten Hag. So continue to subscribe, because we want to hit 17,200 subscribers. So that's what you're really calling in for. And now, who broke the story? It was Christian Volk coming in from Germany, and you know he works for the Bild. He's one of the most credible journalists coming in through from Germany, and he told us that Erik Ten Hag is being discussed for the manager position at Bayern Munich. That was the first story he put out, that Erik Ten Hag is being discussed as a manager of Bayern Munich there for you. So if it was discussed for the managerial position of Bayern Munich, it really shows you how huge he has gone ahead obviously become and really be as a person. Because if a team like Bayern Munich that has gone ahead to obviously look at huge managers are looking at Erik Ten Hag, it shows you how big he is. Christian Volk added, Bayern Munich are exploring 3 candidates for the manager job: Julian Lopetegui, Roger Smidit, and Erik Ten Hag. You talk about Lopetegui, he has gone ahead obviously agreed to manage the side of West Ham, because David Moyes is gonna part ways with West Ham at the end of the season, meaning that he's off the list. And now there are 2 left in there for you, Erik Ten Hag and Roger Smidit. And I don't see Erik Ten Hag on that side. I think Ineos are not that naive to obviously let go one of the managers that is really promising in his career. You know, he still has the hunger to see to it that he puts in a very huge shift as a manager, and the reasons he's giving as to why his team is not performing as they performed in the first season are really very vivid to anyone who keeps watching in through and following of this channel. Because if you're going to the game of Crystal Palace with no fit central defender, you understand what you're talking about. So there are really problems surrounding this guy, and you ask yourself, can anyone come out and blame him for losing the game of Crystal Palace? Because even when he had his first team, he drew, away from home. So how can you come out and really water down his abilities if at all Bayern Munich are really interested in him? Then Plettigol came out and said, Bayern Munich have held talks with Erik ten Hag's management in the last weeks. If he has to leave Man United at the end of the season, he's ready for Bayern Munich. So that is written all over the wall, because there is huge uncertainty being put out by the media. For me, I don't really see it, because no competent side or board can sack Erik ten Hag, and that's why Plettigol is telling you that Erik ten Hag will be ready to join Bayern Munich. And we are looking at a team known as Bayern Munich having a manager known as Thomas Tuchel, who they've already gone ahead to sack, and Man United want to recruit him, and Bayern Munich want to recruit a manager that is at Man United, And what does that show you? You cannot let Erik ten Hag go, because he's being wanted by a team that has gone ahead to be having successful seasons in Europe and has always gone ahead to put in a shift in the elite footballing terms. A team that has gone ahead to set its target so high that even if you reach the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League and don't win the Champions League, that's not enough to keep you around. You understand? So that is how huge the levels and targets have gone ahead to be set by the side of Bayern Munich. And it's really very questioning that a manager like Erik ten Hag is being put in this conversation. Fabrizio Romano or David Austin have always told you United is planning with Erik ten Hag for the preseason. If you went ahead to see the interviews that ten Hag did over the weekend, he was like showing you how good he is and his strength of position at Man United. He's calling in for more signings, right? He's calling in for more aggressive players. You get? That is it. Talking about the Luke Shaw situation. So don't come out and really think that it ends there as you think. Erik ten Hag is in a position of strength, and with the stats, him operating with a shambolic hierarchy ahead of him, and he put out those results. What will happen if at all really gets what we call a competent board that can really compete with the side of Man City, Arsenal? Because it's all about the board. Even if you're a good manager, the board is really shambolic, there is nothing you can do. That has been evident at Man United for a very long time, that even when they brought in Mourinho, one of the most certified managers in the world by that time, he couldn't win the Premier League. That is it, because the board was shambolic. You must be having a board that is robust, a board that is dynamic, that can know how football is really turning around in the recent past. And that's what Ineos brings at the club of Man United. And that's why I tell you, I don't think they can even think about letting him go, because we all know that there is a style of play that Erik ten Hag really has in his head that we all know that he can play. And the big question is, why hasn't he gone ahead to play that style of football? Obviously, one, the board, because it's the team that really tells you what style of football is supposed to play at the club, and then he doesn't have the right players to do that. I tell you, if Erik ten Hag can get the right players, he has the right style and right tactics to take Man United to really triumphing. And I would love to see to it that Pep Guardiola stays here for some 2-3 years, right? And Ten Hag really gets backed. You'll see how talented Erik ten Hag is going to be, all he is, and the tactics. Because if we're going to hate to see him match these teams, even when he doesn't have the quality that they have. So for me, I just get to know that there is an agenda to really character assassinate this manager, that he's going to leave. But I don't think he's going to leave. Melissa Reddy has said Erik ten Hag is ready for Bayern Munich if he cannot continue at Man United, even if that is his wish. Discussions took place between Bayern Munich and Erik ten Hag's agency. All right, discussions taking place are obviously good, and they're coming through at a very right time that United is sending a message. This is a message being sent to every journalist. You know, sometimes your agency can try to cool down this, you know, to really educate people, especially the media that have been so toxic and really slating Erik ten Hag, not knowing the situation in which he's working into. The Premier League has teams that you don't underestimate, because even teams like Manchester City are going to have to struggle when they're beating those teams. You understand? So that means if City is the best team in the league and having all its best players, and it struggles to beat a side that is really in the bottom half of the table, how will it be for a United side that is not at the level of City, and they are not having the players that City are really having, and their team of Man United is really missing out on like 10 players? Obviously, it's going to be hard. So I look at this in 2 or 3 ways. One, we want to see what the journalists are going to be saying, that they should sack Erik ten Hag, and a manager they're recommending to come to Man United is being sacked at Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich wants Erik ten Hag, a team that is the semi-finals of the Champions League. Do you think Bayern Munich is blind? You know, they are not blind. Erik ten Hag was a blessing to Man United, because if we never took him in 2020, I tell you, very many teams would have gone ahead to go for him. I tell you, Liverpool at any day would go for him. Spurs would have gone ahead for him. Bayern Munich, when they sacked Nagelsmann, if Erik ten Hag was available, they wouldn't have gone ahead for Thomas Tuchel. That is it. You know, Pep Guardiola is an admirer of this manager, though he has gone ahead obviously fall into a very, very, very deep ocean. Right? Secondly, it's a message to the board of Man United that you are trying to dispose of a hot cake. You get? And I don't think the board of Man United want to sack him. They don't. This is just a media-driven campaign that is aimed at really getting in clicks, because they know, talk about Man United, it's the most supported club in the world with the most number of fans in the world. They'll obviously follow up. You get? And for me, I've never come out and we told you that Erik ten Hag is going to be sacked. He's not going to be sacked. If you know ten Hag can leave Man United is, if at all, he fails to really be in queue with the board of Man United, that is Ineos. But according to reports, they're really having what you call positive talk. And I tell you what, ten Hag is here to stay. So guys, the reason that Erik ten Hag is wanted at Bayern Munich mostly, it's because of the youngsters they are really having. There is, I think, Tyle, there is Musiala, and other youngsters from the academy that he can really initiate in. And Man United also wants to keep him around because of Kobe Mainoo, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, Amad Diallo, Kambuala, name it. You get? That is Man United for you. So, we wait and see how things really pan out, but I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below on Erik ten Hag Bayern talks held. I sign out for now. See you later, and may the living to God bless you abundantly. I'm welcoming your reactions hugely into the comment section. We out.